Hello everyone, thank you for joining me. I'm Kerry. Today I'll be showing you how to crochet a cockatiel, which was another request I received. When crocheted using 8-ply yarn and a 3mm hook, the large one, the size is 13 centimeters wide by 22 centimeters or 5 inches wide by 8.5 inches. The medium cockatiel, crocheted using 4-ply crochet cotton and a 1.5mm hook, is 9 centimeters wide by 13 centimeters or 3.5 inches wide by 5 inches. The small cockatiel, crocheted using 2-ply crochet cotton and a 1mm hook, is 7 centimeters wide by 9 centimeters or 2 3/4 inches wide by 3.5 inches. I'll be using Catona cotton today, so the size will be a bit smaller than the large one. I'll tell you the size at the end of the video. I'll be using Catona cotton. I've got 242 metal grey, 106 snow white, 522 primrose, 074 mercury, 254 moonrock, 189 royal orange and 393 charcoal. I've got a 2.5mm crochet hook, scissors, a darning needle to weave in the ends, and sewing thread and a needle to stitch it together, and the black is to embroider on an eye. Now we're starting on the face and crest. I've got my 522, the Primrose, and we start with 9 chain. For row 1, we miss the first chain and work 1 slip stitch into each of the next 6 chain. For a slip stitch, we put our hook into the chain, bring through a loop and take it straight through the loop on the hook. So we need a slip stitch in each of the following 5 chain as well. We've got 2 chain left. Then we work 6 chain. We miss the first chain and work 1 slip stitch in each remaining chain. And then we work 1 single crochet into each of these last 2 of our original chain. For a single crochet is a double crochet using UK terms. For a single crochet, we put our hook into the stitch, bring up a loop, yarn around the hook, and take the hook with the yarn at the end through both loops, and a single crochet in our last chain. For row 2, we start with 1 chain and turn our work. We work 1 single crochet into the first stitch, and then we work 5 chain. We miss the first chain and work 1 slip stitch in each remaining chain. And then work 4 chain. We miss the first chain and work 1 slip stitch in each remaining chain. and then just spin it around so you've got your crest pieces going down in size, and we work one single crochet in our stitch, and then we work 3 chain. For row 3 we miss the first chain and work one single crochet into each of the last 2 chain, and then spin our work around and work one single crochet into our stitch there, our single crochet, and then work one single crochet into the first slip stitch. For row 4 we start with one chain and turn. We work 2 single crochet into the first stitch, and then one single crochet into each of the last 3 stitches. For row 5 we start with one chain and turn. We're going to work a joined single crochet over the first 2 stitches. So we put our hook into the first stitch and bring up a loop, and hook into the next stitch and bring up a loop. There's 3 loops on the hook. We put the yarn around the hook and take the hook with the yarn at the end through all the loops. Then we work 2 double crochet into the next stitch. A double crochet is a treble, using UK terms. For a double crochet we put the yarn around the hook, hook into the stitch and bring up a loop, yarn around the hook, take our hook with the yarn at the end through 2 loops, yarn around the hook, hook with the yarn at the end through 2 loops. So one more double crochet into that stitch and a joined single crochet over the last 2 stitches, and we fasten off. And this is the right side. Now I'm going to weave in the ends, but when I weave in the ends I'll weave the crest bits together a little bit, but I'll need it to have that little square bit, that's for the beak. So I'll weave in these ends and then we'll work a neatening row around it. There's the ends woven in. For the neatening row we join just after the last bit of the crest, so in this stitch here. And we're going to work slip stitches around. So just find a suitable place not too far from the edge and work a slip stitch in each stitch around. Just at this corner I'm going to work one chain quite tightly and then just work a slip stitch in the couple of stitches until the crest starts, and then fasten off. And that's the face and the crest done. I'll weave in those ends and I'll be back with my moon rock and charcoal and we'll work the beak. Now for the first part of the beak I've got my 254, the moon rock, and I join 2 stitches before this square part, so just at the corner bit here. Work 1 chain and a single crochet in the same stitch as the join, and then a single crochet into the next stitch, and then join at the side of the square part and fasten off. Now for the top of the beak we're going to use the charcoal, the 393. We start with 1 chain, that's just for that little loop bit at the bottom of the beak, and then we join in the first stitch. You could just join in the back loop only and work 1 slip stitch in each of the stitches, and then slip stitch into the side of that little square part and fasten off. And when you weave in this end, just be careful that you've got a little loop going down over the beak part. Now for this cheek I've got my 189, the royal orange, and I make a magic loop. There's lots of ways to make a magic loop, so make it how you feel most comfortable. I just put my hook on the yarn, bring the short end over the hook and then the long end over the short end to make a circle. Yarn around the hook and bring my hook with the yarn at the end through the circle. Then we work 1 chain and 1 single crochet into our circle, and we pull the circle tight, so just take hold of the tail and ease it in. For row 2 we start with 1 chain and turn and work 2 single crochet into the stitch, and we fasten off. Now you could leave a bit of a longer tail to stitch it to the bird if you like. So that is the cheek. Now for the head and body I start with my 242, the metal grey, and we work 4 chain. For row 1 we work 1 single crochet in the second chain from the hook, 1 double crochet into the next chain, and 1 single crochet into the last chain. The different stitches just gives it a curved edge. For row 2 we start with 1 chain and turn. We work 2 single crochet into the first stitch and 1 single crochet into each of the last 2 stitches. For row 3 we start with 1 chain and turn. We work 2 single crochet into the first stitch and 1 single crochet into each of the last 3 stitches. For row 4 we start with 1 chain and turn. We work 2 single crochet into the first stitch and then 1 single crochet into each of the last 4 stitches, and then work 3 chain. That's just for this little feather that goes down the front. For row 5, we miss the first chain and work 1 slip stitch into each of the next 2 chain. Now we're going to join in our 106, the Snow White. We're starting on this little white part down the front, so we'll be working white on this side and still using the metal grey along there. So put your hook into the first stitch and bring up a loop of the Snow White, but we're going to work over the metal grey for the first 2 stitches. So bring up a loop of your Snow White and then with your Snow White finish the stitch, and then work 1 single crochet in the next stitch as well with the Snow White. Now we're going to leave our Snow White where it is and start with our metal grey, and we'll work 1 single crochet into each of the next 4 stitches with the metal grey. And that's the first row of working with the 2 colours. Now for row 6, we're continuing with the metal grey. We work 1 chain and turn. We work 2 single crochet into the first stitch, and then 1 single crochet into each of the next 3 stitches. Now we're going to leave the metal grey where it is and work with the Snow White, and we work 1 single crochet into the next stitch. Just pull it over the top and bring up a loop. 1 single crochet into the next stitch and 2 single crochet into the last stitch. For row 7, we start with 1 chain and turn. We work 2 single crochet into the first stitch and 1 single crochet into the next stitch. Now we leave our Snow White where it is, and we're working with the metal grey now, and we work 1 single crochet in each stitch to the end. We'll have 9 stitches, so 6 more stitches. For row 8, we start with 1 chain and turn. We work 1 single crochet into each of the first 6 stitches. Then leave the metal grey where it is and change to the Snow White. Work 1 single crochet into the next stitch and a joined single crochet over the last 2 stitches, For row 9, we start with 1 chain and turn. We work 1 single crochet into each of the first 2 stitches, and then leave the snow white where it is and work with the metal grey, and we work 1 single crochet in each stitch to the end. We'll have 8 stitches. For row 10, we start with 1 chain and turn. We work 1 single crochet in each of the first 5 stitches, then we change to the snow white and leave the metal grey where it is, and work 1 single crochet into the next stitch and a joined single crochet over the last 2 stitches. We've got 7 stitches now. For row 11, we start with 1 chain and turn and work 1 single crochet into each of the first 2 stitches. Leave the snow white where it is and work with the metal grey and work 1 single crochet in each of the last 5 stitches. Now we're going to start on this feather here. We're joining in our Mercury. So for row 12 we start with 5 chain. We miss the first chain and work 1 slip stitch in each remaining chain. Now we're going to join in the Mercury and we'll work over our metal grey for 1 stitch. So just bring up a loop of Mercury and finish the stitch with the Mercury, working over the metal grey. And then we're going to bring the metal grey to the front and leave it at the front. We won't be working with it anymore, but we'll use that for these little wing parts just at the end of the wing there. Now we work 1 single crochet in the back loop only of each of the next 4 stitches. Now this is the front loop here and that's the back loop. So 1 single crochet in the back loop only of each of the next 4 stitches. Now we've left these front loops to work the end of the wing into. Now we leave the Mercury where it is and we're going to use the snow white for the rest of the row. So we work a joined single crochet over the last 2 stitches with our snow white. For row 13 we start with 1 chain and turn and work a joined single crochet over the first 2 stitches, and then we leave our Snow White where it is and start working with the Mercury. And we work one single crochet into each of the next 3 stitches, and 2 single crochet into the last stitch. That's at the base of the feather. For row 14 we start with 1 chain and turn. We work 1 single crochet into each of the first 4 stitches, and then we're going to change to our Snow White, but we're going to work over the Mercury to the end of the row, and we work 1 single crochet into each of the last 2 stitches. Now we've finished with our Snow White. We're going to leave it here to use for the neatening row up the side, but we'll work with our Mercury for the rest. So we work 1 chain with our Mercury and turn and work 1 single crochet into each of the 6 stitches. For row 16 we start with 5 chain. We work 1 slip stitch in the second chain from the hook, and then we're going to work 1 half double crochet into each remaining chain. A half double crochet is a half treble using UK terms. For a half double crochet we put the yarn around the hook, hook into the chain and bring up a loop, yarn around the hook, take our hook with the yarn at the end through all the loops. So a half double crochet in each of the remaining chain as well. And then spin the bird around and we slip stitch in the second stitch. So just in this second stitch here. And then we fasten off the Mercury but leave the others attached. Now we'll just work a neatening row with our white, just so we end that off. So just bring a loop of white up and work 1 slip stitch in each stitch, just up the breast there. And then fasten off the white. And that's the bird's body so far. Next we'll work the end of the wing there with the metal grey we've still got attached. So we've got these front loops left, so just bring up a loop in the first of those and work 3 chain. For row 1 we miss the first chain and work 1 single crochet in each remaining chain. and then slip stitch in the front loop of the next stitch, and then work 4 chain. Miss the first chain and work 1 single crochet in each remaining chain. And slip stitch in the front loop of the next stitch, and then work 5 chain. We miss the first chain and work 1 single crochet in each remaining chain. And then slip stitch in the same place as that last feather was worked, and then fasten off. Now I'll weave in the ends, but when I weave in these, I'll pull them in a bit together, and when I weave this one in, I'll just attach this little feather down the side there, and then we'll be back and we'll work a neatening row from here around to the back. Now for the neatening row around the head and the back, we join just in this first stitch. And we're going to work 1 slip stitch in each stitch around the bird to the end of the back. Now I'm just before that feather there, so I'll fasten off, leaving a bit of a longer tail, and I'll use that tail to stitch this feather down when I weave in the end, so it will be just stitched down along the back there. Now we'll start on the tail, this bit here. We join the metal grey in the back loop only of our 4th stitch, 4th last stitch. So just in here we'll be working this part in the front loop, so it's just after this bit there. And we work 16 chain. We miss the first chain and work one slip stitch in each of the next 4 chain. And then work one single crochet in each chain to the last chain. We work 2 single crochet into the last chain, and then slip stitch into the back loop only of the next stitch along row 16. And then we turn our work. Now we'll be working into our front loop. So this is the front loop here. So we could work one chain, and we work one single crochet in the front loop only of each of the first 10 stitches. And then slip stitch into each stitch to the end of the tail. For row 3 we start with 9 chain. We miss the first chain and work one slip stitch into each remaining chain. And then one slip stitch in the back loop only of each of the next 2 stitches. So this is the back loop here. And then one single crochet into the back loop only of each stitch to the end. and then slip stitch into the back loop only of the last stitch and fasten off. And that's the tail done. For these side tail feathers, we join in the front loop only of the fourth last stitch of row 16. We've still got our metal grey. And we start with 9 chain. We miss the first chain and work 1 single crochet into each of the next 4 chain. One half double crochet into each of the following 3 chain. And 2 half double crochet into the last chain. And slip stitch into the front loop only of the following stitch and turn the work. For row 2 we'll be working into the front loop only, and we work 1 single crochet in the front loop only of the next 5 stitches. Slip stitch into the following stitch and work 5 chain. For row 3 we miss the first chain and work 1 single crochet in each remaining chain. And then 1 single crochet in the back loop only of each of the first 4 stitches. One half double crochet into the back loop only of the next stitch and 2 half double crochet in the back loop only of the last stitch, and then slip stitch into the next stitch along row 16 in the front loop only and fasten off. And that's the bird done. When I weave in the ends, I'll just catch this Mercury piece behind the side tail feathers, and I'll catch that one down as well. So that's the body of the bird done. Now for the top part of the wing, I've got my 393, the charcoal, and we start with 10 chain. We work one single crochet in the second chain from the hook. Then we work one chain, a single crochet into the next stitch, one chain and a single crochet into the following stitch. Then we work two chain and work a single crochet into the next stitch, and we repeat that 3 more times, two chain and a single crochet in the next stitch, two chain, a single crochet into the following stitch, two chain and a single crochet into the next stitch, and then work two single crochet into the last chain, now we're going to work one slip stitch in the back of the chain. So these are the back of the chain here, so a slip stitch in each chain in the back loop, just up to the last chain, and then fasten off. And that's the top part of the wing. For the claw, I've still got the charcoal, and we join in the third white stitch up. So this one here, I'm just going to join in the outside loop. And we work 3 chain. We miss the first chain and work one slip stitch in each of the 2 remaining chain, and slip stitch in the same stitch as the join, and then work 3 chain, miss the first chain and work one slip stitch in each remaining chain, and then slip stitch in the same stitch as the join and fasten off. And that's the claw done. Now I'll just make a plain branch this time, but I will do another video and add some flowers to a branch. Now I've got my 254, the moon rock, and we start with 37 chain. We miss 2 chain and work 1 double crochet into each of the next 2 chain. A double crochet is a treble using UK terms. We work 1 half double crochet into each of the following 2 chain, one single crochet into each of the next 3 chain, 1 half double crochet into the following chain, and then 1 double crochet in the next chain, and then work 3 chain tightly or 2 chain, and slip stitch into the same stitch as the double crochet. Then work 1 single crochet into the next chain, and then 1 half double crochet into each of the following 6 chain. One single crochet into each of the next 2 chain, and 2 single crochet into the following chain, one single crochet into each of the next 5 chain, two single crochet into the following chain, and then slip stitch into each remaining chain. And fasten off. And that's the branch done. Now that's all the pieces worked. I'll just weave in the rest of the ends and I'll be back and we'll put it together. There's the pieces. I've got the body, the head, the branch, the top part of the wing and the cheek. The first things I'll do is embroider an eye just at the corner of the beak there, and then I'll attach the cheek just in there, about there. Next we attach the head, it just goes in there, and once we've attached the head we can attach the top wing part. The chain part goes towards the inside, so just up in there. The last thing I do is add the bird to the branch. I kind of hook the claws around the branch and stitch it down across the back of the bird. So I'll do that and I'll be back to show you the finished cockatiel. There's the finished cockatiel. The size is 10 centimetres wide by 17 centimetres, or 4 inches wide by 6.5 inches. If you've liked my video, please like, subscribe and share. I'm also on Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest and Twitter. The details are in the description below, along with the details of my website where I have my patterns, the details of my Facebook group and the details of my Patreon. Thank you for watching. See you next time. Bye.